3, 2, 1. For anybody who doesn't know from a backup perspective, this is 3 copies of your data, 2 different types of media, and 1 offsite. So if you have a production copy, a backup copy, and an offsite copy, there's your 3 copies, right? 2 different types of media. Don't store your backups on the same storage as your production data. A lot of times, especially in smaller shops, but sometimes you'll get where people have the same type of storage infrastructure that's all connected and they just drop backups over on another set of disks. Well, if the whole thing, goes down or fire or burns or whatever, you're still stuck on that same media. So the 2 types of media prevents against 1 type of media failure, and then obviously the 1 off-site. What do you see around that, and what are your recommendations?
Well, I really do think that you hit the nail on the head. Veeam was smart enough to realize just in the intrinsic architecture of anything, you're always prone to fail, right? And people like to throw around terms like 5 nines, 4 nines. But have you ever actually done the math to say what is a 5 9, what is a 4 9? I mean, a 4 9 can be 4 minutes. 5 nines goes further. And, that's across, say, a month or so. And it sounds really great, but what is down and when? And 3, 2, 1 is so genius because it's the layering of technology and copies to really bring the workload up. It takes the percentage of failure down in one area. So hypothetically, you have a network failure somewhere. Well, the multiple copy saves the day. If you have a software failure in one spot, well, if it's existing in 3 spots, you have other pieces of software to use. It's very much akin to, and I go back to kind of the infrastructure side because I think a lot of our customers struggle with this. They'll get some request on the business side that says, let me have 5 9 uptime, right? I always need internet up. It's the life of our business, inbound and outbound, right? So you go talk to all of your providers and no provider really covers you on a 5 9. Oh my gosh. So what do? You have to get a second provider, do all this fancy BGP stuff. Your head kind of spins and boom, now it's always up. Why? Because you took 2 lower uptimes and bridged them together. That's the cornerstone of 3, 2, 1. And I'm not really sure that anybody before Veeam had really thought about, let's apply this to backups. Let's go ahead, 3 copies, 2 different medias, 1 off-site. And you hit the nail on the head. So many times people write those backups to the very systems that could fail. When you look at that storage you have and you built this big array and it's guaranteed to be up by whatever vendor, well, it goes down and you're like, oh no, I have backups that are now written there. You didn't follow the 3, 2, 1. So I like to say 3, 2, 1 is my religion.
And unfortunately for the customers in this OVH Cloud incident, that wasn't followed. Otherwise, their outage may have been a few minutes or maybe even a few hours, but that was certainly going to be better than 11 days or however long it took to get some of these services back online, if they could even do it at all, right? Because some of them were just like, we can't restore your data. Sorry. Because somewhere in there, those customers signed an agreement that said, hey, we're not responsible for your data, et cetera. They signed it just standard terms and conditions, whatever. And when this fire happened, the customer's like, where's my data? And they're like, don't know, didn't you back it up? So that leads us into replication and disaster recovery. Now, all this is sort of tied together, right? Backups themselves aren't necessarily a complete solution. Replication by itself isn't necessarily a complete solution. Disaster recovery is built, at least from our best practices and what Veeam does, is really built around a holistic view, right? Can you talk about how we do it, or at least some theories around combining backups and replication to create a complete DR plan?
Absolutely, and it's actually replication, DR, and our enhanced data protection product. When we started in this business a long time ago, before DR was a DR thing, we really built the cornerstone of the business of being able to recover the customer. We like to throw around the metric called quality. Am I good? Am I recoverable in the appropriate amount of time? And there's a lot of language behind all that, but that's it in its simplistic mode. So we knew if we offered just one product in a suite, it really didn't do the job, that you needed the combination. So how we build this all out? We have typical DR. This is based off of Veeam's Cloud Connect technology, and with some secret sauce, we're able to build out of these. That's your first layer of defense. You have your file levels, you can bring up your VMs, and it works well. It builds out a robust retention. We need this for compliance. We need this for malware. Sometimes you have to go back in time, right? Works really, really well. But That technology does not always meet your time thresholds. Maybe instead of once every 4 hours, you really need to bring something up in 15 minutes, in an hour. So we stack on replication and the technology works slightly different. So that brings us a better time objective. A great question people will ask is, well, if I'm able to hit my time objective, why do I need that traditional DR? Like, well, if it's going to run so many points in time across just say 20 hours, what happens if you have an issue that you don't discover for 20 hours? And it happens. Somebody goes home, somebody goes to sleep, shift change, someone didn't check, and voila, something has wormed its way through the environment. Well, those other backups help cover it. So that brings a little bit more stability. You couple in with enhanced data protection, and we've done some talks on this before, the insider threat, not just the accidental delete, but a vector comes in, it targets the backups. The sad thing is if they find those backups, and they will, because they want to get paid, they will delete those backups in all 3 copies on the 2 different media and the one that is offsite. Enhanced data protection brings that containerization outside of the environment to make sure it is untouchable by that side. So really, you need the stacking of replication, DR, and enhanced data protection to just make sure you recover. Anything less than that is simply irresponsible from my mindset.